Breaking news for all Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong holders. Stay with me until the end of this report, because what I'm about to share could change your financial future forever. A major U.S. bank has now confirmed an internal timeline for redemptions, and this is the clearest signal we've seen yet that the process is truly underway. For years, millions of people around the world have been waiting, studying updates, and holding their currency with patience and hope. Now, we are hearing that the door is finally opening. Redemption centers are not just a theory anymore. Appointments are being quietly scheduled, reports are flowing in from across the country, and most importantly, one of the largest banks in the United States has privately confirmed to insiders that the redemption process will roll out on a specific schedule. This is not speculation. This is direct confirmation of a timeline, and it demands your full attention right now. The story begins with movement inside major banking institutions. Insiders reveal that meetings were held earlier this week at the headquarters of one of the top 4 U.S. banks. During those closed-door discussions, executives and compliance officers reviewed the final procedures for handling Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong redemptions. Staff were trained on identity verification, anti-counterfeit systems, and structured payout options. This level of preparation does not happen unless something significant is about to be triggered. Employees were instructed to remain discreet, avoid discussing details outside secure channels, and prepare for a limited wave of appointments that could expand quickly depending on how smoothly the first exchanges unfold. This is the first time we have confirmation from such a high level that banks are not only aware of redemptions, but are fully involved in the timeline of execution. What does this mean for currency holders like you? It means that the waiting game is nearly over. For years, skeptics dismissed the idea of a revaluation or redemption, claiming it was a fantasy. Yet, while critics laughed, quiet planning continued behind the scenes. Bank staff were trained. Special off-site facilities were secured. Digital verification systems were built to scan and authenticate every single note. Today, we stand at the moment where those plans are finally being activated. Early reports show that redemption centers in states like Texas, Florida, Georgia, Nevada, and Colorado have already begun seeing carefully scheduled traffic. The bank's confirmation only strengthens these claims, providing undeniable proof that this is no longer a rumor. This is a real process unfolding in real time. The critical question now is whether you are ready when your name is called. Inside these redemption centers, the process is highly structured. Individuals are being asked to present a valid government ID, such as a passport or driver's license. In some cases, proof of residence, like a utility bill, is also required. Once inside, currency holders hand over their dinar, dong, or other notes, neatly organized and sorted by denomination. Professional scanning machines verify authenticity using UV light, watermark checks, and serial number databases. Reports suggest that biometric verification, such as fingerprints or even retina scans, may also be part of the process in some locations. Once verification is complete, participants are presented with rate sheets and guided by financial specialists who explain different options, including contract rates, structured payouts, and in some cases, sovereign rates for those with humanitarian projects. Now let's talk about the most important part: rates. While no one can reveal exact figures due to strict non-disclosure agreements, leaks suggest that Iraqi dinar is being valued at levels far above market rate, possibly ranging between $3 to $7 per note, depending on circumstances. Vietnamese dong is being whispered at multiple times its current forex rate, with some reports mentioning life-changing offers for larger holders. Zimbabwe notes, also known as ZM, are reportedly redeemed under structured humanitarian proposals, with payouts tied to community projects. These numbers are not available at regular banks or foreign exchange counters. They are specific to redemption centers operating under the new global financial agreement. That is why being prepared and invited to the right place matters more than anything right now. So why is this happening now in 2025? Several key developments lined up to make this possible. First, the U.S. Treasury is reported to have granted final clearance after months of evaluation and risk assessment. Second, the International Monetary Fund completed a reform package with Iraq and Vietnam, ensuring their central banks are aligned with international standards. Third, global stability has improved in certain regions, particularly around Iraq's oil trade, making it safer to launch a revaluation. And fourth, digital security systems are now fully integrated. Blockchain-based authentication is being used inside redemption centers to eliminate counterfeiting and fraud. When these four elements came together, the green light was finally given. That is why we are seeing redemption activity at this very moment. The atmosphere inside these redemption centers is described as professional, serious, and secure. Participants report being escorted checkpoints with visible security presence. Cameras monitor every room. Staff are trained to remain calm and professional, guiding each exchanger through a step-by-step process. Some individuals describe the experience as surreal, almost like walking into a classified government operation. And in many ways, that's exactly what it is. This is not a normal banking exchange. This is part of a larger global financial restructuring. It involves trillions of dollars, national security measures, and systems designed to prevent chaos in the markets. Every participant signs a non-disclosure agreement before leaving, ensuring that details remain hidden from mainstream news. That is why you won't see this reported on television. But you are hearing it here now. Testimonies are pouring in from early exchangers. One individual in Texas reported called by an unknown number and instructed to report to a designated location within 24 hours. At first, they believed it was a scam. But when they arrived, they saw government vehicles outside and a secure entry process inside. After verifying their identity and citing an NDA, they exchanged their Vietnamese dong at a rate they described as life-changing. Another individual, a retired military veteran in Florida, shared that they redeemed both dinar and ZM notes within 15 minutes of verification. They were offered structured payouts and financial planning assistance before signing contracts. While we cannot confirm every single report, the consistency of these accounts from different states suggests a real, coordinated rollout. One question many people ask is, why aren't these events covered by mainstream news? The answer lies in confidentiality. Every participant signs a non-disclosure agreement. Breaking the NDA could mean losing their proceeds or facing legal action. Banks and governments require secrecy to maintain stability. Imagine if headlines suddenly announced that millions of U.S. citizens were becoming overnight millionaires. The rush, panic, and economic chaos would be uncontrollable. That is why redemptions are happening quietly, in stages with NDAs in place. Information is allowed to trickle out only through controlled channels. While this frustrates many holders who want public confirmation, it is the only way to ensure that the process is safe, stable, and secure. So how should you prepare? The first step is documentation. Make sure your passport or government ID is valid and up to date. Have a secondary ID ready, such as a driver's license or social security card. Keep proof of your currency purchases, such as receipts or order confirmations, neatly stored in a folder. Organize your dinar or dong by denomination, placing them in clear sleeves or envelopes. Write down 3 to 5 questions you may want to ask your redemption officer, such as payout options, tax strategies, or structured account details. If you have a humanitarian or community project, prepare a short printed summary that you can present if asked. Being organized and calm is the key to success once you are inside the center. Another step is mental preparation. Redemption is not just about money, it's about responsibility. Many participants will suddenly find themselves with life-changing wealth. Without a plan, that money can disappear quickly. Financial advisors inside the centers may offer structured payouts, trusts, and investment options to help you preserve and grow your wealth. Think ahead about how you want to use your funds. Do you want to start a business, support your family, invest in real estate, or fund a humanitarian project? Having a clear vision will help you communicate effectively with redemption staff and position yourself for the best possible outcomes. Remember, The decisions you make in those first few hours could affect the rest of your life. One of the biggest warnings is to avoid scammers. With excitement at an all-time high, criminals are trying to take advantage. Do not respond to shady emails or unknown text messages claiming to schedule your appointment. Redemption centers will never ask you to pay upfront fees, transfer cryptocurrency, or reveal your bank passwords. If someone requests money before your appointment, it is a scam. Trust only verified communications, and when in doubt, wait for official instructions. The legitimate process is secure, professional, and requires no upfront payment. Scammers are counting on desperation and impatience. Do not let them trick you into losing your currency or your money. This is bigger than just Iraq or Vietnam. What we are witnessing is part of a global financial reset. Central banks around the world are aligning under Basel III and Basel IV standards, moving toward gold-backed assets and away from debt-based systems. Countries with historically undervalued currencies are being rebalanced. The revaluation of the dinar and dong is only the beginning. Over a dozen nations are expected to follow. This shift could transform global trade, strengthen certain economies, and weaken others. Oil markets, banking systems, and even diplomatic alliances are already adjusting in anticipation. The world is entering a new financial era, and you are positioned at the center of it if you hold these currencies. Some skeptics still insist this is impossible, calling redemption centers a myth, but reality is overtaking doubt. With every testimony, every signed NDA, and every bank insider confirming preparations, the evidence grows stronger. Those who remain on the sidelines may soon regret ignoring the signs. History shows that wealth transfers rarely happen in plain sight. They are planned, controlled, and executed quietly to prevent chaos. This is one of those moments. The truth is not being hidden, it is being managed. Those who prepared will walk through the doors. Those who mocked will watch from a distance. The difference comes down to awareness and readiness. Timing is critical. Insiders warn that redemption will roll out in waves, with a peak activity window lasting 48 to 72 hours. During this window, the best rates may be offered, with possible downward adjustments after. That means, when your notification arrives, you cannot delay. Waiting too long could mean missing out on premium rates or even being excluded from the process. Stay alert to your email, phone, or secure platforms where notifications may appear. Keep your schedule flexible and your documents ready. This is not the time to hesitate. The window will not stay open forever, and those who act quickly will benefit the most. Let's talk about the future after redemption. Overnight millionaires will face decisions that could reshape not only their lives but also their communities. Some will choose to live quietly, securing their families' financial futures. Others will invest in local businesses, housing projects, schools, and hospitals. The wealth created by this reset has the power to lift entire neighborhoods out of poverty. The choices made by individuals will determine whether this is simply a personal windfall or a historic opportunity to build something lasting. Redemption is not just about you. It is about what you can contribute to the world with the resources you receive. The global ripple effect cannot be ignored. Banks are bracing for massive liquidity shifts as large sums flow into private accounts. Stock markets may experience volatility as institutions adjust their portfolios. Oil-producing nations could see new partnerships and power shifts, and governments will be watching carefully how this sudden redistribution of wealth plays out. The dinar and dong redemption is not a small event. It is a financial earthquake with aftershocks that will be felt for years. Being part of it places you in a historic position, one that very few people truly understand right now. So here is the bottom line. A major U.S. bank has confirmed the redemption timeline. Centers are active. Early exchanges are happening, NDAs are being signed. And for the first time in history, the private citizen group, holding Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong, is moving forward. The reset is no longer a rumor, it is here. The question is simple: are you prepared? Do you have your documents ready, your currency organized, and your plan in place? This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. If you act wisely, it could change your life forever. If you ignore it, You may watch others walk through the door while you're left outside. Stay ready, because the call could come at any moment.